Okay, welcome to the football roundup, midweek football roundup. I'm going to concentrate mainly in this video on the Champions League Matchday 3. But before I get to that, I just want to tidy up week 7 in the Premier League, Monday's fixtures. There were two of them. Fulham at home to West Bromwich Albion. These two teams were promoted, of course, but they're now staring at the abyss at the bottom of the Premier League, both desperate for points. Fulham, Anderson, a new acquisition, was in defence for Fulham. Loftus-Cheek on the bench, a bit of a surprise on that. West Brom were unchanged, and they got Pereira and I can't remember his name on in midfield anyway. Didn't see a lot of this early on. A miss-hit shot from Townsend for Albion hit the top of Fulham's bar. That was very early on, 2 minutes, 25 minutes. A free kick from De Cordova Reed. That's got it right. Cordova Reed. His shot from distance, just a yard wide. And a couple of minutes later, a second header from the same player, and he headed home after an assisted header from Mitrovic, following a looping cross from Robinson. So the home side won to the good. And 29 minutes they doubled their lead. Olive Avia crashed a beauty from the edge of the box after good work again on the right. So that was 2-0, and that was the score at the break. Second half, well, there wasn't much action at all in the second half, to be perfectly honest, because my notepad is empty. It has to be said, a great win for Fulham, but I don't know what Village and West Brom were doing in that second half. They showed little effort at all, and on this form they'll be heading straight back into the Championship. So final score then at Craven Cottage: Fulham 2, West Bromwich Albion 0. So that second match then on the Monday night putted Leeds, high-flying Leeds, at home to Leicester, who are also up there in the top 5. Leeds had Hernandez on for their record signing Rodrigo, who was out following a COVID positive test. Leicester, Evans, no, he wasn't around. Fofana infected. That meant their back four was very depleted, nothing like their first choice selection. Maddison still on the bench, mystery about that. I know he was injured, but he's spending a great deal of time being nursed back. Perez was there to join him, and Iniacho. So a strong bench. Thomas and Albrighton in midfield for the Foxes. Early chance for Leeds on 1 minute, and this fell to their top striker Bamford, but it was straight at Schmeichel. A minute later, a breakaway, and Vardy picked up a poor back pass, and he unselfishly pushed it across the 6-yard box, and Barnes was there to gobble it up, and it was 1-0 for the Foxes. A minute later, Barnes again looking menacing. This time, Leeds keeper blocked the effort. Malinia, I think is his name. 11 minutes, another shot from Barnes. Was parried away by the keeper. Then on 20 minutes, Vardy again causing havoc. His header was pushed out by the goalkeeper, but Tielemans got the scraps, and it was 2-0 to Leicester. On 37, Schmeichel smothered a Bamford effort. It was a great chance, really, to pull one back, but the chance had gone. So we got a minute 47, and Dallas, a speculative cross following a corner, and his effort went past Schmeichel, and so they were back to 2-1. Into the second half, Hernandez had a good opportunity, but he bent it and it hit the post. So Leeds still in it, but 75 minutes, Maddison had come on and his through ball was exquisite, and Vardy ran onto it, finished it off, following Unda's clip from that Madison through ball. Under his name is, and he clipped it into the space, and Vardy poked it home, and that was 3-1 to the Foxes. The last minute of normal time, a penalty for Leicester. Vardy had been subbed, so the second choice, Tielemans, stepped up and he converted. And so it ended up a rather comfortable win for Leicester. They took this game at Ellen Road. Final score, Leeds 1, Leicester City 4. So let's get on to these Champion Leagues roundup. This is match day 3. We will be having a week off next week before they get on to match day 4. So the Tuesday fixtures were groups A to D. So let's go through those. I saw most of the highlights of all the matches, including Wednesdays. But starting on Tuesday, Group A, we saw Liverpool go to Milan to play Atalanta. And Atalanta, of course, already on 4 points. Liverpool maximum of 6. So these two look like they could be in pole position. But it was a pretty one-sided affair. Once Liverpool got off the 0, they cantered to a thoroughly satisfying 4-0 win. And Diego Jota, their new signing from Wolves, he completed his first hat-trick for the Reds. And might be some questions now about whether Firmino should come back in. Jota was absolutely fantastic. So final score, Atalanta 0, Liverpool 4. The other match in Denmark between Midtjylland and Ajax. Ajax crawled over the line here. They won the game by 2-1. The table then, Liverpool on top with 9 points maximum. Atalanta and Ajax are on 4 each, and Midtjylland on 1. Group B, Real Madrid at home to Inter Milan. Real Madrid have really struggled. They've just got 1 draw so far, and they struggled again. It was a pretty competitive match, and eventually they managed to come back again. Yeah, they came back again to win this game by 3-2, so their position in the group looks much more promising. The other match in the Ukraine, Shakhtar Donetsk at home to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Well, the Germans had rolled over Madrid earlier and only got a draw from it, but they didn't make the same mistake in the Ukraine, and they absolutely battered Shakhtar and won by 6-0. What that now means in the group is that Borussia are on top, 1 win and 2 draws, 5 points. Shakhtar and Real are on 4, and surprisingly Inter, just with 2 draws, are on the bottom with 2. But I think there's a lot of work to be played for in that group. Group C, Manchester City's group. They had a home tie against Olympiacos from Greece and a comfortable 3-0 win. Jesus came back as a sub late on and scored a goal. I'll be pleased to see him. In the other match in Portugal, Porto again a comfortable 3-0 win over Marseille. So that leaves Group C, Manchester City on 9, Porto on 6, and Olympiacos on 3, Marseille yet to score a point. Final group then from Tuesday, it saw Group D, it saw Bayern Munich travel just across the border into Salzburg in Austria. And first half it was pretty competitive. Salzburg matching the Germans, but I'm afraid the second half was fairly predictable, and Lewandowski again scoring a couple of goals, and it ended up a rout. Salzburg losing the match by 6-2. The other match was in Moscow, Lokomotiv against Atletico Madrid. A Dur 1-1 draw played out there. So that leaves the tables Bayern at top, 3 wins, 9 points. Atletico have moved into second with 4 points. Lokomotiv have 2 and Salzburg the solitary 1. Of course, the reverse fixtures will be played in 2 weeks' time. So to Wednesday's action now. This is always interesting. Wednesday's groups then. Groups E to H. Let's start off with E. Chelsea welcomed Rennes from France to Stamford Bridge. And once again, they were far too strong for their French opponents, and they won comfortably by 3-0. The other fixture was in Spain. It involves Sevilla, the current Europa League winners and holders, against Krasnodar. This was a pretty exciting match, and Krasnodar went into a 2-goal lead. But the Spaniards found something from somewhere on a really poor showing. They managed to creep over the line with 3 goals to take the tie by 3-2. That means in terms of the table, Chelsea and Sevilla both have 7 points, and Krasnodar and Rennes both have 1. So it looks pretty clear-cut in that group. Group F then, to Russia, Zenit St. Petersburg at home to Lazio. This was a pretty rough house of a match. I saw quite a bit of it, and the referee was in constant action, blowing up for irritating petty fouls. Eventually, Lazio got an equaliser in the second half. They had Inzaghi on the sideline. He's their coach, and I could hear him in my TV room. He was really noisy. But the final score was Zenit 1, Lazio 1. And then the other match was in Belgium, Bruges at home to Borussia Dortmund. The Germans were far too strong. Haaland stepped up with 2 goals, and they won the game in Belgium by 3-0. To Group G, Barcelona. A very unconvincing performance by Barcelona. They're struggling in the Liga, and they struggled last night against quite an enterprising Dynamo Kiev team who were well in this match. But eventually Barcelona, through the help of Piqué, won the game by 2-1. Messi had put them ahead. And then the other match was in Hungary, in Budapest. Ferencváros at home to Juventus, and Juventus had one Ronaldo back in the team. Well, he didn't score, but his presence was certainly imminent and certainly valued. Morata was the hero for the Turinians, and they won the game in Hungary by 4-1. So that group leaves Barcelona with 3 wins, 9 points. They haven't played that well, but they've still got the points. Juventus 6 points, and Kiev and Ferencváros just a solitary 1 point. Now to Group H, and this was the one that I'm always interested in. Manchester United went to Istanbul to play Istanbul, and it was a comedy of errors, really. Somehow they managed to leave an Istanbul striker, Bar, who used to play for Chelsea, on the halfway line, completely unmarked, and a quick clearance by their defence set him through, and he hit the ball past Henderson for 1-0. And then there was another calamity a little later that put the Turks 2 up. United did get a goal back by Martial, but it wasn't good enough. Second half, they just couldn't break down the door, and so Istanbul beat Manchester United by 2-1. The other match was played in Germany at Leipzig against PSG. Now, Leipzig, of course, had that heavy defeat in Manchester a week ago, and PSG so far have only got 1 point from it really was a match that both sides needed to win. Apologies there. I think PSG have 3 points. Yeah, sorry, not 1 point. But anyway, it didn't do them much good. They started well, but the Germans fought back and took the game by 2-1. What that means in terms of the tables is that Manchester United and Leipzig have 6 points from 3 games. Istanbul are on 3, as are PSG. So all to play for in that group, I think. And so that concludes this roundup. There are Europa League matches tonight, but I won't be covering those. So anyway, that's it for me.